Okay.
Okay, now I'm seeing audio-y noises. That's
Okay.
promising.
That
Okay.
looks better. Okay.
Are we live?
You got me.
Okay, yay. We apologize for our technical difficulties for the better part of this here first end.
Okay, can someone tell me who's red and yellow on each sheet?
All right, so while Bo is busy getting this, we're going to relaunch this thing. Hey, welcome to the end of the first end of the 2023 Potomac Curling Club U.S. Women's Curling Association Brunch Spiel. I am Alan McNeil. I am on commentary. I am joined by Bo Durr on the controls, also joining in on the commentary. We are covering the feature game, Bacon and Legs, from the Bucks Potomac Curling Club against Team Mantia from Ardsley and Triangle. That's on sheet B. We are very nearly done with the first end. Currently, I believe red has the shot stone, but that's not 100% certain. It's kind of questionable. But they do have hammer, we know that. As Mantia skip Jim Mantia is throwing the hammer. They threw a very wide line. I think he's just trying to draw around the mess to try to get a second. Slight danger here would be if he cuts too much. Okay, so that's already wrecking in on some guards. That's not going to change anything. I think Red's got one.
Oh, let me see if I can get the houses up before they kick it away. No, I can't.
I'm pretty sure Red had one. It looked from, but yeah, from the angle that we had, I can't tell 100% for certain. But pretty sure Team Mantia scored one with the hammer in the first end to go up 1-0. Okay. All of our other games are still finishing the first end. On sheet A, we have Team Misfits, which is a collection of folks from Rocket City, Houston, Morgantown, Nashville, Peachtree, and probably points elsewhere. Against Cocoa Pebbles, which is just from Philadelphia. On sheet C, we have Plan B from Pittsburgh. We know they're throwing the yellow stones. Against the Crab Benedicts from Potomac, who we know are throwing the red stones. They're still finishing up the first end, so we do not have a score yet.
Yeah.
Sheet D is You Can Beat Us, but You Can't Join Us from Potomac against Team Fabian, which is Jersey Pinelands and Bucks County. And we apologize for the delay. We had some problems getting our audio up. We are good to go now.
I can tell you what's going on C. I've given you an overhead view of the house, and it's the only rock left is yellow for Plan B, and as you can see, unless those are mirages, that Chuck Riney for Crab Benedicts, that's our three-person Potomac team this morning. They are line 2. So very interesting, difficult shot here for C.
Yes.
On sheet C, and
it's sliding on its way now.
Should be able to see that on the right-hand side of the screen.
Based on that broom, I'm not actually 100% sure what they're trying to accomplish. Presumably a cut-down shot of some sort.
Are they trying to draw in to the butt?
I don't know that path is there. The sweepers have abandoned it and wrecked on a top guard, so Red takes 2.
That's going to be a steal, too, for Crab Benedicts. We can confirm the score on B. That was 1.
1 for Team Mantia.
Yeah, and on D, is that a 1 or a 2 for? That's a 2 for You Can't Beat Us.
For You Can't Beat Us, okay. You Can't Beat Us for Potomac is throwing red. And is throwing yellow.
And red has scored on every sheet.
Okay, which Peachtree. So Misfits is throwing yellow on A. Based on the fact it's a team with a bunch of different team jackets, I'm going to say yes.
I have Misfits as, I have it wrong.
I'm virtually certain that's Misfits.
Yeah. Okay, so Misfits.
That team is very definitely violating the uniform code because they're all wearing different uniforms, which definition of the term uniform. But that's only a problem if they make it to nationals. Oh, hey, speaking of which, this event is a qualifier for the USCA 5 and Under Nationals. 5 and Under Nationals is a relatively new event designed for adult curlers with less than or 5 years of experience this curling season. Teams can be open entry. They can be any combination of men, women, intergender, whatever. It's just 4 curlers, 5 because you can have a spare. But they all have to have under 5 years experience or this could be their 5th season. That gets a little bit weird because of some clubs curled during COVID times, some didn't, and all sorts of craziness. We only have to worry about that if For the team that wins this whole darn Bonspiel, they will get a qualification spot in that event.
We have one Potomac team playing later today that has already qualified.
That is true. Qualification events have been going on for a couple months now, and several teams have already booked their places, but they can still play in these events. These are just open Bonspiels. This is a USWCA, the United States Women's Curling Association, is the presenting owner of this Bonspiel. Potomac Curling Club is hosting it for them. U.S. Women's Curling Association being a organization which, as you would expect from the name, is predominantly designed to emphasize women's curling, a traditionally underrepresented segment of the curling population. But one of the ways that they've chosen to do that is to also just foster growth of the game by providing opportunities for 5 and unders of either gender to play in a semi-competitive Bonspiel. And actually, now that it's nationally associated with it, it's actually a competitive Bonspiel. So that's what these teams are out here trying to do. I mean, they're also out here to have a good time. It's still primarily fun, but when we get down to the games on Saturday night and Sunday, the teams that are still in the tournament at that point will have something to play for. So the games will get quite interesting at that.
And food.
Oh yeah, and it's the Brunch Spiel.
It is the Brunch Spiel.
Should we have brunch for dinner too?
Yeah, I wish I was going to be here for dinner.
Me too.
This will be breakfast for dinner.
Yep.
Always a treat in our house.
All right, that's enough of us blabbering without talking about the curling game. Let's talk about the curling game. Currently, we're here in the second end on Sheet B. Team Yellow, which is Bacon and Legs, again, Bucks Potomac, Charlie Saldek, Maddy, Clough, Dan D'Amico, and Chris Farmer. They're currently lying 2 down 1-0 here in the second end. As Team Mantia's second, who is Chase Hodgdon, just kind of popped out one of those yellow stones. Yellow does still lie 1, and at that 1, although it's exposed, does have a backer, so taking it out is not trivial. So Bacon and Legs skip. Chris Farmer asks his second Maddy Clough to kind of tap and provide a little bit of coverage on that yellow. I think he wants the stone in the ring. That's why I saw the room, but probably not, because they're not shooting the heck out of it, and it's going to be a solid 2-guard in a pretty good place. So that was a pretty nice stone from Maddy Clough, who is one of the Bucks and Potomac players from Potomac.
The rest are indeed from Bucks, which is, but you know, they're relatively close. Some of them probably play here. I'm sure. I think a lot of them played here on previous Spiels. So sure.
And Team Mantia is now throwing their first vice stone. That would be John Poshepny. He is being asked to kind of lay this over on that yellow stone that's shot, not specifically take it out this time, kind of to sit on top of it. The expectation being they can tap it out later. First problem is getting past the guard. They managed that. The sweepers did an excellent job holding that. Stone is going to over curl. The depth was just about perfect. Actually, the depth was absolutely perfect, but it just curled a little bit more than the skip Jim Mantia expected. It's still usable. You can still accomplish the same shot. You just do it from the outside now instead of the inside.
This is fast ice.
So yellow is still lying at 1, but it is now at a certain degree of risk. As you can now see from the overhead shot.
There's your guard shot. The shot is on the way.
Yep. Bacon and Legs vice Dan D'Amico. Throwing his next stone. I believe he was just kind of being asked to get another stone in there for 2. I'm not 100% sure why he's throwing the same side of the sheet as opposed to splitting the sheet. But that is one of the things about 5 and under Bonspiels. The skips usually don't have a ton of experience. I mean, by definition, which is their 5th year at the most. So they don't necessarily fall by the book, so to speak, which creates some interesting situations.
And the book can change if you have inexperienced players or players who are not necessarily well-rounded. Maybe,
absolutely,
yeah, maybe shots that.
And also, for that matter, your opponents. Right. So, and it's one of the things that makes curling chess on ice, as opposed to the shuffleboard on ice that some folks sometimes derisively refer to the sport as. Team Mantia trying to deal with the problem they're facing right now of 2 yellow stones currently scoring. This looks like it might be a little deep. It is a little deep. Yeah, it's far too deep. So yellow still lies 2. There is a way that red could conceivably take on at least one of them if he was willing to play to the outside of the sheet. One thing you will notice about 500 teams, they tend to not play to the outside of the sheet. Dan D'Amico being asked to pound another one into the house. At this level, that's almost always a good answer. Got 2 of the 3. This does, however, feel kind of light of the house. It's going to end up being a guard if it even gets over the hog line. I don't think it's gonna. The sweepers are trying. They just didn't quite have enough Wheaties this morning. Actually, Wheaties were not on the breakfast bar.
Croissants. Croissants have the sugar that you need to get through your day.
True.
Just like John Belushi and the little chocolate donuts.
So that Hodgdon kind of opens up some opportunities for Team Mantia here in the second end. They're already staked to a 1-0 lead. They had to work for it, but they got the 1 in the first end. So Team Mantia skip Jim Mantia has walked down to the other end, is describing his shot to his front end. Interestingly, he's spending more time describing the front end than he spent down here talking with his vice. That's a little odd, but it's possible that the front end had a better idea or something like that. But he appears to have settled on what he's doing. He's getting his gear ready to throw the stone. Based on the broom, it looks like he's planning on just kind of nose hitting out that yellow stone that's currently shot in the back of the 8-foot, and probably just kind of roll over just a little bit to kind of sit on top of his 2 reds on the back, because that'll be a protectable situation. Right now, this stone is not coming over enough. Nope. It is not going to get there. He's going to take out his own on the back. It's kind of inconsequential anyhow. So yellow still lies 2, has an opportunity to protect that steal.
They have hammer, don't they?
Good point. Yellow does have hammer this end, so they have a opportunity to really put up a big number.
Jake Botcher asks what sheet is Philly playing on right now, which would be your team. That is A, and I'm trying to keep an eye on that as best I can. I can tell you...
They scored a 2 in the first end.
Yeah, let me give you the all-sheet view here, and you can see where they are now. They're a good ways through that end. A lot of rocks are not in play right now, so I hope that helps you a little bit, Jake, and I will try to keep an eye out a little bit more on that sheet for you.
All right, Bacon Lake's first skip stone is on its way. Chris Farmer was basically attempting to kind of cover his shot stone a little bit and add another stone in. This does appear to be a little heavy, but I don't think it's going to be fatal. I think it's just going to tap that top one back. Actually, it kind of was. So all it really did was a nose replace. So yellow still lies 2. It's a different 2. That yellow stone that just got tapped is providing a position as a catcher in the back of the 12. But anything that it catches is not going to be relevant to the scoring. Apparently, it got bumped a little bit. But any stone that wrecks on that is still going to be at best 4th shot. So that's kind of a failed. That was kind of a failed opportunity to capitalize. So John Poshepny is asking Mantia to skip Jim Mantia with the last stone to at least do something about that 1 yellow. His ideal shot would be get that yellow stone out and, like I said, roll his shooter over in front of that line of 4 stones. Not really in front of, in the middle of that line of 4 stones over on the left-hand side. That would be a protectable position, and that would be the best force opportunity. But again, it looks like it's a little wide. I don't think it's going to come over enough. It comes over enough to get the tap. Okay, it hits. Thanks. That is a successful cut down.
Yeah.
So right now, from the overhead, yellow definitely lies 1. And they have that backer available. They could just, really they just have to drop it. Draw to 2, and they've got available backer. So this should be a convertible 2 opportunity. They're looking at the circus shot to try to make more than that. That's a poor choice. They're not doing. I don't think they're seriously considering doing it. Boy, they are seriously considering it.
Going to the all-house view just briefly. Sheet A, Misfits has the hammer, and that is the house they're looking at with only the hammer to come. So a fairly open shot.
Yeah, it looks like a wide open shot.
It is a wide open shot. The guards are on the other side.
Well, so there is a question. If they nose that top red, will their shooter be in the house? That's a legit question. But that's really the only complication.
Yeah, the draw is surely the better shot.
Concur.
Yeah.
But 5 and unders tend to, they tend to like the hits. Because you don't have to mess with the weight. You can have too much weight, it's fine.
Yeah, also you can get frustrated when you're 5 and under and just want to blast something.
So they're sweeping this hard, it's coming across nice. They're gonna make contact with the top stone. And judging from the shadow, I think that's it. They just took a look at it, they kicked it, yep, they conceded the 2. So it is now 2-1 in favor of the Misfits over Team Coco Pebbles.
It's 2-2, isn't it?
You are correct, 2-2.
Okay.
And the draw from Team Mantia, from Team Bacon and Legs, rather, was successful for their 2, so they go up 2-1 after 2. Our games on C and D are still completing the second end, which does put them a little bit behind the timeline, but not horribly so.
I can tell you D is on skip rocks because, in fact, Ken Clark throwing the last of his for You Can Beat Us, but you can't join us, the Potomac Club. Potomac team, it looks like he is line 1, perhaps trying to guard this. I'll leave it here just for a little bit so you can see Ken's guard coming in. Ken, by the way, is the wizard of the webcast, the person who set up all these cameras and all this equipment, and is in here all the time refining things. Oh, you can also see on C, Plan B cleared out, moved around a bunch of rocks, but Crab Benedict's still looks like they're line 2.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. And just 1 rock per skip remaining on that. Chuck Briney. Chuck fairly deliberative. I say that from experience losing to him many times.
I think judging from that broom, for the broom, he's just put a drop on the center line, which makes sense. That's the right call.
Yeah. How deep would you want that drop?
I would want it, so personally, I would want it just an inch better than that Yellowstone that's currently probably 3rd shot.
So just enough to lie 3.
Just enough to lie 3. Okay. And you don't want to come much deeper than that, because if you come much deeper than that, you run the risk of the other team hits it, and now their stone is sitting there cutting out the 12-foot. You're the one that's currently lying your 2nd shot. Stone's on its way. It looks a little hot, in my opinion. It's probably going to nose the one on the center line. It's just going to be a straight replace, pretty much. And kicked that far enough that I'm pretty sure red is still only line 2. I believe that Yellowstone up the top 12-foot is out counting it slightly. And more importantly, yellow has the hammer, so really all they need to do is just nose that stone that they just left in the 4-foot, and they'll take their 1. Now, red's perfectly happy with the force there because they were already up 2-0, and making the other team take 1 when you're up 2, it's a good feeling.
Sheet D, the end just ended.
red is throwing a stone, so that implies they score.
It looks like this, and I think I have the teams backwards on that. Because Ken Clark is definitely holding up. Yeah, he's definitely playing for yellow, so
I do not believe that I agree with you, because he just backed off and yellow's throwing. Ken was in the house for that red stone.
Yes, you're right.
All right, that yellow stone that we were talking about did not make the line for that hit. Did successfully draw. Yes.
Yeah, so that's going to be 1 yellow most likely.
Almost certain. Yeah, definitely, because that red stone's hanging half out there. That's 1 yellow.
Yeah.
So that draw was just good enough. Draw was just good enough. There was a little bit of vice, or somebody was asking an awkward question for a second there, but I don't think there's any drama coming out of it. So that makes our score on sheet C 2-1 after 2.
On sheet D, I know red stole. I don't know how many because they were thrown first in the 3rd end.
I mean, it could conceivably have been a blank, but I don't. There were too many stones in the house, so I don't think so.
Yeah, I saw them kicking stones away, but I don't know what they had.
Sheet A is also in the 3rd end, but I can't see what their 2nd end score was. Oh, no, we heard that earlier. They get a 2 to tie it up. That's right. Okay. Our commentary angle is down at ice level, which is great for feeling like you're in the game, but it's lousy for seeing what's going on at the other end. So... This is the very first draw of this Brunch Spiel. 24 teams from literally around the nation. We've got teams from all over. Primarily the East Coast of the United States, but we do have some representatives from Texas. And I believe even, doing a quick review. Now Texas is pretty much the farthest way to get. Now, admittedly, that's plenty far.
It's a haul.
Yeah, it's a haul. So they're all here trying to compete for that berth to the USCA 500 championships held later this year out in, I want to say California. I'm not 100% sure on that. Or just having a good time at 500 Bonspiel. 500 Bonspiels are generally a trip. They're great. They're even competition. It's a lot of fun. I miss my 500 days. They were a long time ago.
I need to play a 5 and under while I'm still 5 and under.
Yes, you
basically means next year.
I mean, I highly recommend it, though. Even if you're not competitive, it's an experience. It also gives you an opportunity to meet the hurlers from your region, and that helps you down the line. You get to know more people in the social angle. It's a social game.
Top 12. Yeah. Now I get thrown, guy.
Several people yelling at once picked up by our rights.
So a little added attraction, for lack of a better term, this end and this game rather, this draw. There we go. This draw, and for that matter, all the draws in this first round, they are playing for the box. The box is in this case, a Cheerios cereal box, which is possessed by the most recent team to have successfully drawn the 4-foot or executed a double takeout at some point during the game, probably in like the 5th or 6th end. A bell will ring, and whoever is in possession of the box at that time wins the fabulous prizes that are inside the box. What are those fabulous prizes, you ask? They're fabulous. So you will periodically hear people yelling box, and somebody will go and grab the box. It's a fun little lighthearted thing. All right, we are working our way through the 3rd end here in our feature game, Bacon and Legs versus Team Mantia. Currently, every stone that's in play is red, as their vice, John Poshepny, is preparing to throw his final vice stone of the end. There is only one stone in the house. It's in the back 8 foot over here on the right from the overhead, or the bottom from the overhead, depending on the angle you get. But there are 2 stones that would theoretically be guarding, although neither of them right now are guarding that stone. Although it looks like John wants to put a guard up in front of that stone, but he's slapping his forehead like he's completely dissatisfied with the shot. He should be, because he hogged it by a solid 10 feet. So that was kind of a wasted stone. So now bacon and legs skip Chris Farmer. I wonder if that's why they came up with bacon and legs, the old farmer thing. Is looking at what to do. They are up 2-1. They do not have hammer this end. They would probably like to force a 1, or if they could steal, that would be great. This isn't really a good stealing house at the moment, though. So
this is our fastest game at the moment, incidentally, because they are Skip Rock's Sheet A, which I know we have viewers for that. They are the last 2 of the vice rounds.
All right, Chris Farmer's stone is on the way. Judging from the line, he was just being asked to do a nice, simple takeout on that on that red stone, with his yellow stone, rather. I don't think his stone's going to get over far enough. Nope. No, not at all. It's going to go clean through the house. That is a miss. So the missed guard was followed up by a missed hit. And so now we just reset to the next set of stones. Jim Mantia talking to his vice, and his plan is a scoring guard. He wants to put this in the rings over on the right side of the sheet in front of his current scoring stone. Basically, he wants to deep 12-foot, shallow 8-foot over there on the right, provides some protection. He does not want to slip behind the tee. If he slips behind the tee, he gives the other team something to sit on, which is a problem. Teams are discussing the speed of the shot. The lead says he thinks a 4.75 is good. For this ice, that's usually about right. 4.75 in this case, meaning the time from when the skip pushes out of the hack until the rock crosses that near tee. It's one of the various measurements that you can use.
This is tee or the hog?
The tee at the near edge. So the tee that he crosses first. But this is way heavy for that. He didn't throw that 4.75. He threw that closer to 4. So if they're so the hack to tee is one of the measurements you can use. You also hear some teams use a hack to tee measurement as opposed to hack to hog. Those numbers, though, will usually be in the 2s. Because really, if you think about it, that usually doesn't take long to go one to the other. So that's usually how you can tell pretty quickly which system a team is using. You'll also sometimes hear teams talk about hog-to-hog times. That is another thing, but you usually can't use it to fine-tune the stone that's being thrown, because by the time you get to the far hog, it's usually too late to do anything about it. So that's usually really just a number that you gather to try to get a feel for how the ice is behaving for later use. Is the ice slow?
Right.
That kind of thing.
And that's one of those things that's counterintuitive. Because the slower time, hog to hog, means what?
So curling ice is not flat. It's got pebbles, and it wears down during the game, and that'll affect how far the stone can travel. Perversely, the longer the stone takes to travel, that means the ice is faster, because it means less effort coming out of the hack, pushing the stone less quickly, but it goes further. It's counterintuitive, and it's an entire big brain weird kind of thing. So slow ice requires you to throw the stone fast. Fast ice lets you throw the stone slow. This message brought to you by the Committee for Confusing Language, Local 642. So the hammer's on the way here in the third end. Jim Maddy basically attempting to deal with that yellow shot stone on the tee. Was placed in a very good position. And it looks like he flashed that as well. Yep, that's another missed hit. So yellow steals one to tie the game up at to take a 3-1 lead.
3-1 lead.
3-1 lead.
All right, I'm going to show all houses now to give some idea of where we are. Sheet D. Wait a minute. Oh, sheet D. Pretend this is the correct score. I don't know how. I say that because I am trying to get the all-house.
So yellow, red just hung the 1 on the. There you go.
I was right.
Good job.
Okay. On sheet, yeah, that one still has a couple of skip rocks left. On sheet A,
looks like we're getting ready to throw the second yellow skip stone, which is not the hammer. Red has the hammer this end.
So the last shot for yellow, which is misfits.
So currently yellow's in a pretty good situation to execute a strong force at the very least.
Yeah.
They have 2 in the house, one of them behind a guard. Looks like what they're attempting to do is just put another one in the house, which is the correct play. That will force red to just deal with that stone and take their 1, take their medicine and go home. And at this level, misses are always possible. So
yeah, and I think this is missed. Or
missed. Could be Hodgdon. Oh,
yeah,
no,
I mean,
it's not hog. They're over the. No, they're not. Never mind.
Nope, hog. Yeah, they only had 1 sweeper working on it. I don't know if they only have
a player.
And they have 4 players, but sometimes you have players who are injured and can't sweep or something like that.
I have one of those on my team currently. Not in this sponsor.
I have done that before. I'm going to leave the all-house view up because sheet A.
Okay.
And I know we have people watching sheet A. The hammer now is coming from Dewey Donovan of Philly.
So the Misfits have. I'm sorry. The Cocoa Pebbles has an option. They could try to get rid of both of those yellows. It'd be a very wide, very difficult double. I don't even think Schuster would really want to take it on. He'd do it, but he wouldn't want to do it. On the other hand, Cocoa Pebbles is probably just taking the relatively safe draw for 1.
It's coming in with.
Feels like it's got a little bit of steam. On the other hand, the sweepers are sweeping it, so they might know. They know something I don't.
Okay.
Up! Because it's there now. They're fine. They're fine.
Okay.
That was a well-executed draw for 1.
Yeah.
So Cocoa Pebbles 3, Misfits 2 after 3. What's going on over on C? It looks like that looks like a bunch of stones in play.
There are a bunch of stones in play. This is the first skip rock coming in now for Plan B in yellow.
Okay, he just kind of looks like I don't know if that was deliberate or not, but what he did do was put another guard on top of his shot stone, which is just nestling the 4-foot over on the left-hand side of the sheet. So that tells me that guard was probably deliberate. Red's throwing their first skip now.
Their first skip rock.
Red has hammer this end. Red has a problem
now
because yellow's shot stone very well guarded. And red doesn't have any easy plan of attack. They're looking at the red stone that's in the top 12-foot, and it's open and it's exposable to hit. And there, as you can see, the broom that he's got on there would be the correct hit location to hit that red stone back over on the yellow. The problem that they have is that is a very precise shot.
Quickly on sheet D, this is the hammer being delivered right now by Amanda Fabian from Pinelands/Bucks. She's got 1 in there. This is an up-weight shot. I don't think this is a draw.
It is not a draw. What is she doing? I do not understand that shot in the slightest, but she's got no way to make 3 out of this. Or is she just believing that the ice was slow? I think she just believed that the ice was slow, and looking at what the stone's doing, she's absolutely correct.
Yes, she is. Wow,
that came up very light. I agree with you. It looked to me as though it was was overweight coming out of the hand, but in the house, that was not the hammer.
There are no rocks down here.
Congratulations, you were the only person in the ice shed that realized that was the hammer.
Oh, did they not realize it on sheet D?
They did not. Just get it. So over on sheet B, we just had a box shot. The team Mantia put a shot literally on the button. You could not, well, you could do it better, but not by much. So yeah, that was, judging from the way everybody was standing around in sheet D, maybe no. So that's why that shot went that way. She was putting up a guard to protect her steal of 1. Problem, she had the hammer.
Right.
Welcome to 5 and Under curling, folks. So Team Fabian missed an opportunity to get to draw for a second point. No guarantee they would have gotten it, but up 3-1. So,
All
right,
C,
we are getting ready to throw the final yellow stone. Red has hammer.
Yeah, Chuck
right,
Riney with his first for Crab Benedict's further buried the yellow.
Yeah, all right. So what Plan B is planning on doing, Plan B's Plan A, is to make it so that Red can't try that promote that they were looking at. Oh, and that's why I did not notice until just now. Yellow has a stone hanging in the back of the 12-foot that is currently second shot. So they're not just attempting to steal 1 right now, they're attempting to steal 2. So guarding up on that red tap is a great idea because currently, although Red probably doesn't have has a very difficult tap to try to be shot, it's a relatively easy tap to cut down to 1. So Yellow's going to put a guard up in front of that red tap to make that at least more difficult.
That stone is on the way from Plan B.
Sweepers are on it hard. A little concerned it might over-curl, but I don't know. That's right where they want to be. You can only barely see it on the 4-angle shot. I don't even think if we gave you house cam, I don't think you could see it. But that is, you could have a higher guard, but it would require hitting another stone first. So yeah, that guard is probably too high. It's on the correct line, but it is not. It's high enough that Red could still try to get past it for that tap. There's a solid 20 feet of space there. So that's not really going to be in the way.
And is that where Todd Trivet, my fellow Duke grad, is holding the curtain? Is that
what he's got in line? I mean, it's the only shot they have.
Yeah.
So that's what he's trying. They're playing. Yeah, it's an attempt at a approximately T-line weight tap. You don't want to go much harder than that because if you miss that yellow, you don't want to with your promotion stone. You don't want to go all the way through and miss everything. So you really just kind of want to gently tap.
So a well-played tap only gives up a steal of 1. An excellent tap.
Perfectly played tap could end up shot.
Yeah.
Stone's on the way. Maddy Clough single sweeping it.
Oh, that's D.
On C.
Yeah. That's D long on C.
On the way. It's coming.
It's the
outside.
line is good.
Well, but it might get the job done. It does the other way. It at least gets the cut down.
Yes.
Which was probably an acceptable outcome to them. So game tied after 3 on sheet C, 2 up. Red takes hammer.
That could have been a lot worse.
That was an adequate. That was an acceptable shot, frankly.
Yeah. Okay, so we have neglected our feature game a little bit as.
Yes, but look what we got rewarded with. We've been rewarded with a party game where every stone is currently in play. That's not true. 2 stones are out of play, but only 2.
I've got a view of the here.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to summarize this in 500 words or less. Red is currently lying 2.
Yes.
Red is also lying the 4th shot. Yellow has the 3rd shot. It is corner buried over here on our right-hand side of the 4-foot. I wouldn't want to take that on. Red, we are currently on the final vice stone. So John Shenny, at that weight, it looks like he's just trying to make it so, well, he's hockeying the stones. He was trying to make it so that yellow couldn't try to do an angle raise on that yellow stone and do damage to these 2 stones in red. Hodgdon, that's his 3rd Hodgdon of the game. It's only the 4th end. That's a little unfortunate for him.
So to wade into a big controversy here, Alan.
Yes.
Does a 3rd sweeper really help?
At this level, it can, because if the 3rd sweeper is the best sweeper on your team, and since it's your skip who's the most experienced, they may be. So yeah, you can get something out of it, either in terms of it lets you let your weaker sweeper off the stone, so now you've got 2 good sweepers on it as opposed to a good sweeper and a person running room on ice. Or you can have 3 solid sweepers on it if you're fortunate enough to have that. At any layer much higher than this, not really. You can only get like an inch or so out of it because you're replacing a good sweeper with a good sweeper. That's not really much of a benefit.
I remember seeing a couple of times when Caitlin Laws was playing Vice, and she's an outstanding sweeper, and once it got a little ways past the hog line, the sweepers would just hand it over to her.
So that's usually a strategic thing in the sense of the sweepers don't really know where they really want the stone to end up at the end of the shot perfectly, whereas the person who was in the house knows where they want to be. So the team has made the decision to trust the person who has the house to do that final fine-tuning. So that's a tactical decision more than a quality of sweeping decision. All right, so yellow is taking on that angle raise that we were talking about. Basically what they want to do is they want to take this yellow stone that's in the top 8 foot, they want to angle it in so that it hits the stone on the button, ideally perfect for replacing it, because then they're laying 1. Stone is coming in. There is a lot of curl in this. I think it might over curl.
Yeah.
It did, but it does tap out that 2nd stone, so it at least gets that done. Yellow now lies, well, red lies 1. Yellow has the 2nd and 3rd stones.
So that's an improvement. And they
No,
still
yeah,
got
improved situation.
And how many rods do they still have?
Both teams have 1 left.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry, that may not be true. Does Red still have both?
Red still has both. Does Red have hammer?
Red is getting ready to throw their first skip stone.
Correct.
So they're drawing around from left to right. Okay. So he's planning a very wide draw around this 5-pack of guards up on the center line. Basically, he's trying to draw the 2nd stone.
Okay.
Because if he gets that 2nd stone in there, that's going to be real hard to do.
Certainly seems sensible.
And the ice is definitely shown. The ice has plenty of bend in it, so that yellow guard that's 18 inches or so off the center line to the left, sometimes that would be a detriment to the shot. I don't think it's a problem for the shot at all. If you get past that guard, he's got plenty of cut to make the rest of it, at least as long as he's got the weight right. Sweepers are on it. Is that a line tune-up or is that a distance tune-up? That's a line tune-up. Yeah, because he's concerned he's not getting past the guard. He's very concerned he's not getting past the guard. He had a ½ inch to spare. He was fine. So now they're just trying to rub that in to 2nd shot and probably.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, because they've got almost their whole one in. Yellow, I think, is
I'm willing to believe it. I think they got just enough out of that. Now that's a situation where that 3rd sweeper coming in at the end may have only got him a millimeter or 2, but they only made it by a millimeter or 2. So game out. So yellow is having to take on the angle raise again. The skip is doing that. I just made one of these. Why am I doing this again? It's very frustrating to have played a pretty good shot with your 1st stone, now being asked to play an even better one with the 2nd stone.
See, we have more people from Pittsburgh tuning in. I am peeking in on that, but I don't want to miss this shot on B.
Yep. So the angle raise attempt, again, he's trying to take the stone. It's actually the stone that they threw with their last stone. The sweepers are on it already. If they want to execute this angle raise, this is definitely a line concern. Actually, it's a weight concern. It does not have much weight at all.
No.
I don't even know that they're getting to the stone, much less with enough to do anything about it. They're coming in, and gentle tap. Ah, boy, you know, that wasn't what they had in mind, but did it accomplish?
They're taking a good one.
I don't blame them.
Yeah, from our camera, I would still think red is closer, but that's not always the case from this.
Yeah, I would not. If I was yellow, I would say, can we bring the measuring stick out on that? At least from what I see. We're not on the ice. It may be clearer when you get out there.
Right.
But that was not what they had in mind. But as a lucky outcome, not bad.
Yeah,
if only because if nothing else, even if that's not second shot, I don't know, from what I see, I think yellow is second. But even if it's not second, red has a really hard time making a third right now.
They were taking a good long look at it. That delivery is on the way.
I think he's looking to tap. I think what he's looking to do, he thinks yellow is second because he's just looking to tap his red that 1 inch that they need to make it the second. Sweepers are on it like mad. I don't think this has the mustard. Ironic for a catch-up stone, but and no, it does not. All right, so now we have the dance of the vices. A little musical interlude here while the vices can. It's definitely red one.
If you're fine with it, I'm fine.
And they kicked stones, and there was an if you're fine, I'm fine. So pretty sure that means it was one, right? Was that one? Or was that two? Was that one or two? It was two?
Two. Okay.
Okay.
So 2 red, which means we're tied. Correct?
If they haven't changed the rules of math, yeah.
I don't know. I've been substitute teaching some, so I don't understand math at all anymore. Okay, all house view for our friends in Pittsburgh. This is
And last red.
This is the last red for
Cocoa Pebbles, which is Team from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Why is Pittsburgh so concerned about the game on sheet A? It's Philadelphia versus everywhere else. I'm confused.
I don't know. I think I was confused. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they were probably more concerned with what's going on sheet C. Wait a minute. Someone from Philly was tuning in though. Okay. Oh, that's right, Jake. Jake is the other player. Jake, are you going to be here tomorrow for Cocoa Pebbles? Jake listed as their skip, but Dewey is the alternate is in there.
So the rest of their team is concerned. Okay, so here's the problem. You are currently in what we in the business refer to as a world of hurt. You are throwing your final skip stone. You are up 3-2, so you got that going for you. Yellow currently lies 3. And there's not really any place you can put this red stone where you take 1 and M protected. R protected? R protected. My English is as good as my math. So they're trying to nestle cut the center line behind the yellow 2 that are currently in.
That is
coming at it hard. I don't think this is the distance to get there. No, it is currently cutting down yellow to a 1, but that stone is completely exposed.
That's an open hit for 4.
That is an open hit. That is what we in the business refer to as an open hit for 4. Hey, Bo?
Yes.
Are folks from Philadelphia also from Diamond State?
They must be because they're all wearing Diamond State gear.
Right.
So.
Okay. Cool.
And people are looking at me as if to confirm.
Aha. Okay, we are being told that Cocoa Pebbles is from Philadelphia and Diamond State.
Oh, the hit for 4 turned into a hit for 2 because the shooter didn't stick and the one they hit took out their biter in the back. Oops. So that's 2 yellow, 2 for Misfit. So a little bit of fortune there for Cocoa Pebbles to not give up the giant. They surrendered the lead, but that could have been a lot worse.
Much worse. Much worse.
All right, so D and C. And by the way, there's a player named D on C. So
let's just make it just a little more confusing.
Right. So over on D, it looks like this is
Yellow's last. Red has hammer, yellow's final stones being thrown.
Yeah.
Red is currently lying 3. They have the shot stone is on the 4-foot over on the right. Second stone is a little further on the right between the 12 and the 8. And then they've got this third stone over here in the back 8 that looks to me like it's out counting a yellow stone that's also in the back 8.
So you're saying this is a high pressure shot?
I'm saying this is a high
maybe.
problem shot.
Yeah.
It's also a high weight shot. I don't know what he's got going. Actually, is it a high weight? No, it's a slight guy. They know this ice better than I do, which is bothersome because it's my club. So they're bringing in the stone. They're gonna tap that top red rather, roll in. That actually is a very nice cut down. Red is now only lying 1, and where that yellow stone is not an enviable takeout, and this is why. It's easy to get to the stone. That's easy. It's wide open. However, you do not have an extrication line. If you hit it straight back, you pound on that red that's right behind it. That doesn't work. If you angle it down to come out, you're going to wreck on one of those 3 stones that's in the back of the 12-foot. If you hit the stone shallow enough to try to kick it out to the left without crossing the tee, you're going to lose your shoot. All right, the box has just been awarded.
there was a bit of celebration for the box.
Sheet C, somebody on Sheet C just won a box.
That's right. We have a question from Keith asking, is the curler named D playing on Sheet C part of Plan B? No, she is not.
That would have been great, though.
Yeah, she is for Crab Benedicts from Potomac. And DDI, D Wong.
I feel like we should make them do that at some point during this weekend. Though.
We should.
Especially if they throw some grade A shots.
Well, we have grade A eggs.
I assume so.
Yeah.
We have marvelous food. I know that much. The breakfast bagel this morning was marvelous. All right, so Ken Clark, who is not actually the skip for Team You Can Beat Us, but You Can't Join Us, but is playing skip because he got pressed into service.
He might be their skip the rest of the weekend. I'm not sure.
Possible, in which case, there's not a horrible option. But is looking at the situation, I'm not 100% sure what he's doing about it, because frankly, I don't know what I'd do about it. I think he might just be taking his 1 and going home.
That appears to be the case. Or is he trying to?
Not at that weight. At that weight, he's crossing. He's crossing the hog line. Actually, at that weight, he's not even crossing the hog line.
Yeah. So I think.
No, don't. Careful, you. Oh, was that the? Oh, that was the hammer. Never mind. He took his 1 and went home. Okay.
Yep. So 4-1 for DSP You Can't Join Us, which is again ironic considering they've had people join them. All right.
And at the moment, they're not being beaten. Welcome back to our feature game, Sheet B. We are much like NBC. We didn't show any of the lead stones, and most of the second stones are also gone. Maddy Clough's bacon and legs final second stone is on its way. What is the situation? He asks. Red is shot in the back of the 12. Is that still back of the 8 rather? Is that still true? That is still true. Yellow has a stone in the top 8. Red has a stone nestling between the 12 and 8 up in the top, up at the other side of the sheet. There's also a couple of other scorings. There's 5 stones in the house, 2 guards, not really guarded. Well, the center line guard is useful. There's a guard, theoretic guard over here on the right that's not going to guard anything unless we're playing the 12-foot.
We have the hammer coming up on C, by the way, and it is Chuck Briney trying to salvage this.
Ouch. Yeah. This is the worst. This is the worst feeling in curling. Hey, Skip, got news for you. You got hammer. Bad news. You're drawing against 4. Worst news. You don't have a draw line to score 1. Your best case scenario at this point is a cut down 2-1. Because he literally cannot draw to a shot position. There is no line. And the stone that's currently shot is buried, so there's no takedown. So all he's doing is drawing to, the better his draw, the fewer points the other team scores. That's the best he can do. So it's just a question, based on the quality of his draw, whether the other team gets anywhere from 1 to 4. Stone is on its way. They've only got one sweeper going.
That would be
Not
D.
touching it. That is D. That is D on C, sweeping hard for plan A, which is to cut the other team down. They're bringing a second sweeper down. You remember how I said that the other team was going to score somewhere between 1 and 4, depending on the quality of the shot? That was a 4-point shot. That was a 4-point shot for you.
Right, Brian has asked if I can turn the on-ice sound down a smidge. I think I just did that.
Awesome. So yellow 4 on C.
So
Plan B scored 4 because Crab Benedict did not execute their process. What are you doing, Tora?
There we go. Okay. I had to find the right slider for the on ice. Brian, I think I've got it now.
All right, we are progressing down along here in our feature game. John Poshepny throwing his second and final Vice Stone in our 3-3 tied game after 4. He was just kind of being asked, I don't know what John is doing. John is not having a great game. He needs to he's in his head, and he needs to shake off the first half of this game. And get back in it here, because he's coming up light on most of his shots, and you can tell from his body language he's frustrated with himself, and that's harmful for a Vice.
Yeah, and we've all been there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's perfectly human. I am not saying I don't understand why he's that way, and I'm not saying he's a bad person for being that way. I'm just saying he needs to do something about it. Yellow just absolutely taps out a stone beautifully, sits in the back of the 12 behind 3 cover. Yellow currently lies 2. And so now Team Mantia Skip Jim is dealing with 2 pretty well covered stones, blanketing the 4-foot, not blanketing. One's at the top of the 4, one's at the back of the 4. They're just barely touching. They're both basically on the center line. There's a yellow guard in front of it. Basically, he needs to run back the top yellow, and hopefully the guarding stone comes out, and that top yellow splits out, and his red stone rolls to a position such that it's not blocking things. It's asking a lot for one stone to accomplish. He's from Ardsley, though. They can do it.
And this is his first.
Correct. He does have to, so he doesn't have to solve all of the problems with this one stone, but he would like to solve 2 of them because he's got 3. So basically, this is an attempt to run that yellow back and kind of execute a raised double, or it's actually just a double, but
it's a fair amount of weight.
It is enough weight to do the job. The line's pretty good. Or, you could fix all 3 problems. That's a good idea, too. Well, he only fixed 2 of them. That yellow stone is still shot, but it is no longer on the center line, and it is wide open. So he fixed 2.5 of the 3 problems.
That's pretty good.
That's a passing grade.
Yep.
I mean, 2.5 out of 3 is 87%, something like that?
Yes. 88? 5.6.
It's a solid B.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a solid. It's a B+.
Yeah. So that's a really good shot. I mean, I'm actually undercrediting it by saying that. That's, frankly, at under 5 weight, that was about as good as you could hope to do, really. So the stone is open. The yellow shot stone is open, and so what are we doing here? So yellow is not even actually looking at protecting that stone at the moment. They're looking at best defense is a good offense, taking out those 2 reds out there. I'm not sure I agree with that call, but yeah, boy, it's what they're doing.
We have 31 people watching. That's pretty good for a Friday morning. I assume it's a good day to skip work.
Apparently.
Yeah.
It was for me.
Yeah. People say, can you substitute teach for my class today? No, I can't.
So Team Mantia, I'm sorry, no, Bacon and Legs skip Bacon and Legs skip Chris Farmer, taking a big long look at this because he's very concerned, and he should be. Jam possibilities are very much in play here. It's not stopping him. This is a very typical 5 and under shot.
I just peeked over at Philly. Sharon Miner has very good form for. I very much envy people who have just what looks like an effortless slide.
Who actually know how to curl?
Yeah, because
I certainly don't.
My slide is certainly not effortless. Well, the good news is when you have a stick, you can really ramp up. I mean, Denny McLean absolutely killed me Tuesday night.
You played a hit game against a guy with a stick, didn't you?
Not on purpose.
All right, so Stone is on its way from Chris Farmer. He is taking on the double on those 2 reds over there. I'm not sure I agree with it, but it's too late to do anything about it now. Stone is on its way, and he's got the hit, and what did that do? So that...
I don't really know what that accomplished.
That may have given yellow 3 that may have given red 3 is what that may have done. Because that yellow stone that's currently shot is wide open. That's completely hittable, and that's exactly what they're calling.
Yeah.
If they get that hit, they've certainly got 2 as long as the shooter sticks around.
Yeah.
And then I have the question about the 2 stones in the back of the 12. I can't tell from my angle if the red or the yellow in the back of the 12 is closer. But this definitely is giving red a definite chance at 2 and a respectable chance at 3.
Brian says he has 3 curling streaks going on the morning. Oh, Jennifer Jones is playing this morning, right?
Jim Mantia's stone is on the way. He wants to get the hit for, like I said, for the 2. And he got the hit. Is he gonna stick?
Yes.
Yes, that's good enough. Okay, so red is definitely 2. Question is these stones in the back of the 12. Who is 3? Hey, you know what? I got a better idea. Let's throw the hammer first. Before we try to score, let's actually throw the hammer. That's a wonderful plan. Yeah, all right. So it is definitely a successful force by red because all yellow has is a draw. This draw for 1 needs to be fully in the 8-foot. Okay, maybe not fully, but pretty much fully in the 8-foot. But it's a 12-lane highway to get in there, so it's really just a question of if he gets the weight right. Chris Farmer's stone is on the way.
Sweeping, but not agitated sweeping.
Kind of a keep it clean, let's not mess things up sweep. Stone is definitely right in the middle of the highway. The problem that I see is that I think the hammer's down. It might be a little heavy. Or on the other hand, it could come to a stop right on the button. That's also an option.
A little sweep there just for emphasis.
So yellow 1 makes their score 4-3 in favor of Bacon and Legs.
All right, let's look at the all-house view for a second. And
Sheet A's got an interesting end going on there. 3 yellows in the house as we are. Where are we on that? Are we on red hammer? No, we are on red last. Oh, not red last. Red first. Red first skip.
yeah.
Again, problems. So I don't know how Cocoa Pebbles is going to deal with this because those 3 reds or 3 yellows that are currently the shot stones are behind a triangle of guards. It's very difficult to deal with a triangle of guards when you've only got 2 stones.
Shots on the way from Dewey. Is he trying to tap up?
On C?
On A.
On A? Tap up would be a legit call. Yes, that is what he's trying to do.
Yeah,
or at least that's what he's trying to do now. And adequate. That's it. Well, okay.
Yeah.
It takes it down to yellow 2.
Yeah.
He does have 1 more stone, so he could do another tap with the second to make it go.
Yeah.
It's not a horrible. It's almost always better to leave your. If you've got a stone left, it's almost always better to leave it a little short than a little long because you can tune it later. If you've gone past it, you can't bring it back. Curling stones are not known for going backwards.
I see people sweep behind the stone every now and then.
It's shockingly ineffective.
Yeah. People may have been confused by watching the Simpsons episode with where Marge sweeps things all over the place. On D, this is Ken Clark's first rock for the Potomac team. You can beat us, blah, 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 blah.
It's a great team name. I'm stealing that.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember how to pronounce your name, team name from Embassy Row. Perush?
Something vaguely Ukrainian.
Right, but I translated it to Ukrainian.
Yeah, you're the only one who did. All right, yellow is throwing what is their final stone of the end over here on A.
Yep.
They're following the Hippocratic Oath right now. Let's just not do any harm.
Right.
Because they're in a pretty good position to steal a couple here. Red's shot to do anything about that is challenging at best.
It looks like Josh Newborn is actually trying to sneak this in.
Nah.
No.
Not into a position that matters. The only thing that did is it prevented that red from being raised, and that red wasn't being raised in the first place.
No.
I mean, if it was an exhibition, you might try it, but no. So
the Saturday morning hero shot, I call it.
Yeah. So what Cocoa Pebbles is looking at, it's really his only option, is a double tap, tapping his red that he threw with his last stone up at the top of the 12 to tap the one that he hit with it previously. Basically promote it enough so that it at least cuts down to 1. If he gets the angle exactly right, he could get shot out of it. If I had a telestrator, I could show you the angle he needs to throw, but I don't.
We should talk with Ken about that.
I actually, apparently the Tessin folks, unfortunately, as part of their going out of business sale, we're letting the Tuckastrator go.
Oh, yeah.
We couldn't afford it.
Sheet D, that was the first of Amanda Fabian's shots, and it's not bad. It looks like...
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at it. I'm trying to figure out. So yellow is 1. Yellow is at least 1, possibly 3.
So if you're Ken Clark now, do you just try to draw?
Am I on my last stone?
This is Ken's last.
This is Ken's last.
So you draw to the 4. You've got backing.
Yeah. You got a wide enough line. You can come between the yellow that's just outside of the house and the yellow that's on the center line. Yeah, pretty much exactly what Ken's claiming. The tricky part is you need to just barely miss that top yellow. If the stone is cutting severely, it might still be a problem, but you basically, if you can pull the guy, you got a line to the button if you can get between the 2 stones. Yep. So that's what he's trying. And Ken's got this shot in his bag. I've seen him throw it before.
Oh, yeah.
While we were missing it, I didn't see what happened to the 5th. Yellow
sheet A.
Yellow stole the 2.
Yeah.
So Cocoa Pebbles missed their shot. So it's now 6-3 over on sheet A after 5.
Well, Ken is throwing a fair amount of weight, but we have seen that this...
slowing down is a thing that occurs.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like he's in the gap. If he gets past that
more.
yellow, it's got past him both.
Okay.
And congratulations, Ken, you got shot.
Yeah. And
like I said, Ken's got that shot in his bag.
yeah, and I don't see that being that easy to remove.
It's not removable.
No.
So all yellow got is follow Ken down for 1, which Ken would be perfectly happy with that result.
Can you get just enough? Can you tap that red just enough to get 2?
Yes, you can, but you can't count on it.
Yeah.
The pro shot is just throw it to the button, and if halfway down the ice it looks like it's a little heavy but it's on line, you can put the sweepers on it to try to get that. But you don't want to plan for it, because if you throw that shot, it's easier to screw up the lines and not get there for the 1.
We're just far enough into these games that we should mention there's a 2-hour time limit. When the 2-hour mark hits, you can finish your end, and that's it.
And that'll be at 11:30, which is 35 minutes from now. The games on A and B are in plenty good shape because they're in the 6th now, so they'll be in the 8th at 35 minutes, no problem, probably.
Here comes the hammer on D, by the way, and this is not going to curl enough.
That's, nope, red
That's
one.
going to be a steal 1 for.
So a well-executed draw by Ken, not followed by a excellent draw by Team Fabian, results in a steal of 1.
Right. So our only game that is still in the 5th end is on C.
And they've still got 3 stones to go here.
Yep. So let's keep more. Now that we've seen A and D, I will give us a B and C view.
All right, so we're watching B and C right now. All right, let's take a look at our feature game here on B, the feature game that we haven't talked about all that much. Currently 4-3 in favor of Bacon and Legs, throwing the yellow stones. We are currently working our way through Vice stones in line with our policy of never showing anything with each throw. Works for NBC, it should work for us.
I have worked for NBC in the Olympics, Summer Olympics though, and also blogging about.
And okay, so John Poshepny didn't hog that, but he did throw it through the house. That was more of a line call error by the skip than a throwing error by John, though, because from what I saw, he hit the broom. The skip just gave him too much line for the column.
Yeah. Hey, Alan, don't bash your lead stone. Signed your Thursday lead. Well, we're not bashing
okay, Steve.
it. We're just,
yeah, we're not bashing it. We're just not televising it.
Yeah.
You do marvelously, Steve. Keep doing that.
Would that be the Steve who was going to play in this event, but had to?
Yes.
Oh. Hi, Steve. Hope you and Laura are doing well.
All right. So we got another yellow tapped up as yellow. Wasn't quite what he had in mind, but didn't hurt anything really, so it's fine.
Replacement.
Yeah. Not the best situation because you've got fewer stones to play with now, but not the end of the world. All right, so John being asked to deal with that. Again, this feels like kind of a wide line for a hit, unless he's playing a whisper hit, which at that weight it kind of is. So maybe he's really just being asked to kind of tap and roll under, which is a viable strategy too. It's not gonna quite cut enough.
Might chip it out one side?
No.
No, not
Jam,
quite.
unfortunately.
Yep.
So again, I think that was the skip just not running the right line, because the weight on that shot was probably about right to do the job, but the line it was too wide at a hit speed. It was never going to come back enough. So that was just not. That was actually on the skip, not on device.
I'm going to do a quick view of the houses so I can get a better look at the house on C, where Chuck Briney is about to throw his last for Crab Benedict's. And lying one, but my goodness, how do you get a second?
So the only option you have to even think about getting a second, and I don't know that I want to try and take it on, is raising the red that's over here between the 8 and the 12 over to the left into the button. The danger of that is that you could accidentally promote it into that yellow, into that red, and now yellow's taking the 1. At that weight, he's not doing it anyhow. That's a I'm taking my medicine and going home with a 1 shot.
Yeah, he turned around immediately. He's not even looking at it. So
yeah.
All right.
Again, following the medical rule of curling, first do no harm. Yellow over here on sheet B, drawing a stone in to the top of the 8-foot. It is not deep enough to be second stone. The red stone over on the right-hand side still outcounts it. That yellow stone just behind the 4-foot on the center line is a solid shot and is probably never moving anywhere ever again, because I don't see any way anybody would want to get to it. As I say that, of course, the red skip is going, oh, I can just hit this right into that.
Piece of Margely, right? From
Yep.
Ardsley, so
He's,
he can
well,
hit it.
he might be from Triangle. I'm not sure.
No, I think
Yeah.
John. Poshepny.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
John's the only one here from Triangle.
So
I love the Triangle jackets.
Jim
with the,
Mantia is trying to make me a liar, which is not difficult to do. He wants to. I'm not sure if he's planning on angling his shooter in off that red into the center, or if he's gonna hit that red, use that red as a razor to try to take that other yellow on. Either shot would work equally well in terms of scoring a point. Or this could just be a draw line, although it would be a little narrow for a draw line in my mind. So this line feels like it is a raised line of one sort or another. I'm just not 100% sure if he's planning on doing an in-off or if he's doing a raised take.
Showing you now the protracted conversation taking place with the front end.
It is a protracted conversation. On the plus side, they were the fastest game, so they've got some time in the books.
Indeed they do. They should have no trouble getting their 8 ends.
No, because is this hammer? This is not hammer. This is first red, right? First red skip? Yeah, they got split there.
Yeah.
Basically, if you're done with this, with the 6th end by like 11, 12 or so, you should be able to get 8 ends.
All right, that shot for
Stone
Jim
is on its way.
All right, let's see if he can do this.
It's gonna, nope, he kicked the field goal.
The Justin Tucker. Is that what you call it?
Well, no, it went through.
Justin Tucker. He doesn't miss for. He's one of the best
Okay.
kickers in.
Okay, you're right. I was thinking the Buffalo Bill. Never mind. Sorry, I'm an AFC East guy.
Who was the guy who missed? Oh, it was Brett.
Norwood.
It was Maher from the Cowboys missed 4 extra points.
Yeah, well,
That was unfortunate.
Or fortunate, depending on where you were positioned in our now legal Maryland sportsbooks. Incidentally, there is no legal wagering on these games. I checked; they won't do it.
So you're saying I shouldn't have bet $20 with whoever it was?
You probably shouldn't have.
Okay, so if any police are watching right now.
Yeah. FanDuel does not have a curling book. Even for the actual professional games in Canada, FanDuel does not have. They don't have the book. It's weird.
Which is mildly surprising.
At least not in the United States. They may have it in Canada. I don't know.
Considering that gamblers, get so desperate they will, Romanian second division soccer. Just fine.
Challengers League tennis.
Ooh, that's
degenerate.
That is intense right there.
Yeah. All right, bacon and legs.
Lots of weight.
Final Skipstone was coming in with some juice. I think basically he's looking to eliminate this red to kind of take the thought of doing that angle promote away. But this is going to flash on the outside. I think
it could be worse.
And not really.
Yeah, it could have been worse. Okay, Christine says brunch is served, so we'll be back in about half an hour. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So, Brian points out that they did have odds for Olympic curling. Yes, as someone who tracks and tries to pick Olympic things.
Yeah, I mean the Olympic. Apparently, they made the book for Olympics, but they won't for you can't place a bet on the Manitoba playdowns. Although, if you want to place a bet on the Manitoba playdowns, I have to question your life choices.
Saw an interesting game in the Manitoba playdowns yesterday with 2 skips I'd never heard of, both fairly young.
I mean, that was me giving you the lead in to talk about the fertilizer like you promised to.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was where the conversation veered sharply away from curling and went somehow into goat manure.
This stone, I
don't know.
All I'm going to say is, I got to believe that was a misthrow. Because that's not accomplishing anything. That's yellow 1.
Yep, quick view of the house to confirm.
I got to believe that was just a misthrow because I can't think of any scenario where that was the intended shot. Watch out!
All right, we're going to show skip stones. We're going to show lead stones here.
We're going to show lead stones on B?
Yeah.
All right, the Steven Johnson special here on Sheet B. Pay attention, Steve. This is how you do it.
That's right.
Okay.
And I'll just keep you updated on. Tell you what, I will switch around a lot.
All right.
So
bacon and legs skip Charlie Saldek, who is a snappy dresser, all in black,
Yeah.
is being asked to provide a center guard. He slides out well. I'm not a big fan of the knee slide, but that's okay. He did throw a little narrow. They're putting the brushes on it. This is not going to be a center guard. It's going to be a corner guard if it even gets over the hog line. Hey, Steven, remember how I said this is how you do it? I lied. Don't do it that way. That was a Hodgdon. That was not what he had in mind.
Steve, I will point out for the record that I have on occasion thrown a guard as the lead.
All right, Team Mantia lead, Roy Bergstol throwing his first stone of the end. Got a very positive handle on it. It's going to spin about 8 or 9 times as it goes down the sheet. That's maybe a little excessive, but it's okay. On the other hand, though, it's exceptionally light, as you can tell, because the skip is coming out to assist with the sweeping. This is a scenario where it probably doesn't help much, and that is also hogged.
Seriously, because in playing Sheet B recently, and I don't know if you played Sheet B recently.
I played it last night.
You played it last night.
I did.
I have been finding that there is kind of a dead spot to the right as we're looking at the house right now.
Sure. From
Between
about a third of the way down to about 2/3 of the way down?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just me throwing terribly then.
No, well, I mean,
It could be. Well, it could be
that
both.
is also a possibility.
Could be
but
both.
No, the ice definitely. I don't understand why, and I'm sure there's a physicist out there who can give me a good explanation. But it does seem like in the middle of the sheet, it's almost as though somebody poured a couple gallons of Elmer's down. It just stones that feel like they're hot all of a sudden become hogs. It's weird.
I do greet newbies a lot on Saturday morning and also in rentals, and I'm fond of telling them that if you asked 10 physicists why rots curl the way they do, that you would get
15
8
answers.
You would get. I said 8 different answers. Craig Marquardt took issue with that, being a physicist, and said that no, you would get 12.
Yeah, maybe 13.
Sure.
All right.
I don't think he'd argue with that.
This stone is probably, it is in the house. It's only corner buried behind that yellow guard. We are now in second stones as Maddy Clough is preparing to throw her first stone of the end. Yes. She's being asked to try to get rid of that red stone that is currently shot. Sweepers are on it hard. Past the guard, has the contact. Solid hit, nicely done. The only problem, and it's not really a problem, is that it did roll out to an exposed position. That's not even a problem, really.
All right, hammer coming up on A. Let's take a quick peek.
No. Hammer time. A is currently lying 2, already up 6-3. It is the red hammer. They do have a fairly open draw line. The only real problem with the draw for 1, and it's probably a manageable problem, is there's a very high red guard, about 3 or 4 feet inside the hog, that's on what I would perceive as the ideal draw line. But the draw line to the button is still there. It's just a tighter line. Not really a huge deal, as on sheet B, we just have a nice straight nose replace. Another nose replace by Maddy would not be in the house. So Cocoa Pebbles has the draw for their 1 to bring it to a 6-4 score, needs to basically touch the 4-foot. You can miss the 4-foot by a little bit and be adequate, but basically just needs to get to the 4-foot. Stone is on the way. Sweepers are just kind of lightly touching it up at the moment, not doing any serious work. They're concerned now. They're coming in on it, making sure it's past the guard.
Is it past the one? And
not
no.
Past the guard.
Oh,
it
boy.
wrecks on the guard.
That's 2 more for
and
Misfits.
that's 2 more for
it?
Misfits. That's an 8-4 game, 8-3 game rather, after 6.
Indeed it is.
We're starting to enter the range where Cocoa Pebbles could consider conceding the game. They haven't yet, as far as I can tell. It looks like the skip is going down to run the 7th.
I'm going to give a quick word on D. That is Amanda Fabian is about to throw her first. She has hammer, and she has a fairly favorable house at this point.
She's got 2.
Yeah. So if you want to be aggressive, you could come down and hit the yellow.
Into the red. That would conceivably hook them up with where they could potentially be laying as many as 5, depending on the resultant roll.
Yeah.
And when you're down 4 in the 6th, it's time to start considering gambling. That's not what she did.
That is not getting there. I don't know if that's what she...
She's guarding her 2. That's an odd choice.
Or did she come up 15 feet light?
Also possible.
Yeah.
That
we all do it.
Yep, do it a lot. But I feel like that's game management is one of the last things you tend to learn as a skip, and that feels like Fabian's got it in her head that if you have hammer, get 2.
Yep. All right, what's the? I'll take a quick peek back at. Well, actually, I'm going to try to show C as well because they're getting down toward the end. So. See what we have on B right now. Oh, we have only 1 rock in the house, and it is
now double guarded.
Yeah, that was surely not the intent.
Probably not. It was probably meant to be a peel, but it came up very light, and that red stone is now pretty secure.
All right, John Poshepny, I have a good feeling about this shot.
What are we doing? We are probably drawing behind the guards.
I think so.
That
I have a good feeling about this shot.
I'm less sanguine about it based on what I'm seeing. It feels light to me, and the sweepers tend to agree. They're scrubbing on it hard. It's not irretrievable yet. The skip hasn't come out to sweep it, so he thinks it's okay. He's definitely past the guards. Does it have the legs to make the house?
Will it touch paint?
Does it have the legs
They're
to
working
make
on
the
it?
house? It does not.
Oh.
About a foot short.
Yeah.
And that one, unfortunately, was on John. That was just, he just didn't throw it hard enough. He knows it's skating back down. Yeah. It's okay, John. Shake it off.
As Taylor Swift sang.
Because you had a bad game. It's not Taylor Swift.
No, that's Daniel Powder, I believe.
I believe you're right.
Okay. I was thinking.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know that one, though, so
well, you know, today I'm going to shake, 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 shake. Shake it off or shake for the end of the game.
Bacon and legs, Vice, Dan D'Amico trying to come around the phalanx of guards and generate shot out of it. Length looks about right. Is it going to cut enough? There is a lot of finish on this sheet at the moment.
Ooh,
so
that
doesn't quite bury.
Yeah.
It's about 2/3 exposed on the outside. Frankly, this is a good opportunity for John because he can just throw not exactly a laser weight hit, but a good solid straight hit. And that might be what gets his juices going for the rest of the tournament.
Okay, John.
Or he could leave this very narrow and wreck into the guard pile. That is also an option for a thing that could occur.
That is what's happening. Hey, it's a tap.
And so it broke up the 2 in the middle, which actually, that's not actually completely useless.
All right.
Because that opens up a raise on the red that's currently second shot to where there could be something that could be done with that.
All house view, it looks like Ken Clark managed to sneak something in there to break up a little bit of what Amanda Fabian was looking at. And
I'm curious as to how he got that.
How did he do that?
I mean, both draw lines are conceivably possible. It would have been a very or this is there on the outside of the sheet if you're willing to risk the bumper. So
right.
I'm assuming it was a well executed draw, and if you'd gone 3 inches further, it would have been a beautiful draw. I
get so nervous throwing up against that bumper.
Oh, absolutely.
Amanda Fabian's hammer is en route.
And
that's on the guard.
Wreck on that guard up top. That's making it a 1 yellow.
Yeah.
Which Ken is perfectly content with that.
Absolutely.
And that game, That game probably only goes 7 because it's 11:15 now. Teams have 15 minutes until the time check, and they have to have finished the 7th end, which is defined as the last zone of the 7th end, come to rest to play their 8th.
On sheet C, this is Chuck Briney's last for Crab Benedict's, and it doesn't seem to be doing what they want. They might.
If he wants to promote that to the button, it might.
Well, it's a promote to...
Or not the button, but to promote to shot.
Okay, got shot.
That's I mean, I don't know if that was exactly what he had in mind, but it's within rounding error.
Nice job, Chuck. Maybe Crab Benedict's use a plan B against plan B, and I think we have handshakes on D, or is that just a fist bump?
I think that was just a fist bump for well done shot.
Yeah.
We're probably sneaking up on range of handshakes over there on A, but they'll probably throw through the 7th.
Oh, I forgot that Ken had hammer in that end. So, and that was, I did not really have a good sense of who was closer on that one.
I think we are shaking there, though.
Okay.
Yep, game over.
Okay.
I'm not sure what happened in the last end, and we will never know because they're pulling down the numbers.
Okay.
I'm comfortable in saying that Fabian got 1, and they shook down as they were. So I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Well,
unless
would you shake only down 5-3 after 7?
Maybe not then. So maybe Ken managed to get the tap up for the 1. We'll have to ask them when they come in. They took the short out too fast.
Yeah. Well, Ken will probably come in to check in on us. All right. Oh, last shot on the way on C. You can see in the corner over there.
And that red stone was perfect, as it turns out, because he took his 1.
Okay. Steal 1 for Crab Benedict. So if they can steal 2 in what is surely going to be their last end here.
Yeah, because they've only got 12 minutes. You can't play an end at 12. You can, but not at this level.
No, that'd be very difficult. So
yeah, so he needs to basically steal 2 in the 7th, which is effectively the 8th. These other 2 games are well into the 7th, so they will probably get to throw 8 if the game situation wishes to go there. Yellow throwing their last stone, bacon and legs over here on sheet B. They currently have the shot stone. It's pretty well protected. I think they're attempting to take out, no, not that way. Just trying to draw another one in, is that?
Do a little in off.
Okay, sure.
Which is.
And actually, okay, so there was enough for the takeout, and they're currently lying 2. Now, unfortunately, they created a pocket. Pockets are bad, because pockets are relatively easy to hit, and both of those yellow stones can go.
Which would get them.
Which would get red 2.
Yes.
Which would tie the game going into the final end.
Okay.
Now, tied with hammer, not a bad feel for Bacon Lake. So they're probably feeling as though even the worst case scenario is favorable for them. But all Team Mantia has to do here is come in with some significant juice, hit that yellow stone that the broom is right in front of, just slightly to the inside of center. The stone will, the shooter will gear in and take out both yellows. But he is way wide.
Oh my. Did he throw through? No,
yeah,
he couldn't have.
He didn't. It wasn't deliberate.
Right.
He just, so this is a common problem with high weight hits. And his front end just told him. So a lot of younger players, and even a lot of experienced players, when you call for a high weight hit, there is the desire to just push the stone on the release, and that is never the right idea.
You are not telling me something that I don't know and often do.
Yeah, I mean I do it too. It's incredibly common. He fell into the trap, and that basically, I'm not going to say the game's out of reach, but it's going to be a reach.
You have to score 4 with hammer.
Yeah. Doable, not impossible, not terribly likely.
Right. All right, quick all-house look so we can
at
see
the 2 houses that are still in the game, which
A.
3 games still played. Never mind. what is going on sheet A? Sheet A is yellow has one in the house. Red does a tap, tap, tap.
Oh, not bad.
Is that going to be too heavy? No, it is shot.
Okay.
That's...
Oh, and that's the last of the Vice Rocks.
Okay, so they don't really have enough to get 5 out of it. Although they've got time. They can play the 8th end, so really they're okay with a 2 or a 3. They can continue.
That they could.
It sucks being down 2 or 3 without hammer, but, I mean, you try what you try. And because of the nature of this tournament, you have to win this game if you want to end up getting the berth to nationals. You have to win the A event, which requires you going undefeated. So now, not all these teams are actively trying for that, but teams that lose these games will not be able to advance to nationals. They will, however, still be in the competition for the B event, C event, etc.
I took the undefeated route through the big Spiel in 2020. It was, of course, due to my stellar lead play and had nothing to do with the fact that Michael Dobbs was our skip.
Yeah, no, not the slightest. All right, so we are here in the 8th end in our feature sheet B game. Throwing our lead stone. He's a little heavy. It'll be in the house, which is a defendable play up 4 without.
Quick question from the chat: what time did these games start? The answer was 9:30, maybe a couple of minutes after that. So, and they have when they hit the 2-hour mark, which would be 11:30, maybe 11:32, they would be able to finish that end, and that is all.
And that's not really likely to affect any of these games because sheet B is already in the 8th end. That's the final end either way. Sheet A is on skips stones in the 7th, so they've got 8 minutes to throw 3 stones. They'll get there, so even if they want to throw 8, they got plenty of time.
Yeah.
And sheet C is still has like 10 stones to go here in the 7th. They're not going to make the 8th end. Probably. They could, but they need to pick up the pace severely.
All right, we have confirmation from Ken that sheet D was only 5-3.
They shook. And
they shook.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
They just didn't want to. They didn't want to try to take 2 without.
Yeah.
Okay. The team that's behind always has the right to concede. I'm not sure I would have in that situation, but they did, and that's fine.
Well, in fairness, brunch is being served.
That is true. Food is important, so that is probably a factor.
Yeah. Like sheet A, it just seems like these last couple of rots are taking a while, but
it's because the red is trying very hard to figure out a way to make a big number out of this. They can't right now. They don't have enough material.
No.
So there's, I mean, how many? We're on yellows.
Yellows last.
Yellows last. Red, the most red can make it. This is 1. This game is over at the end of this end.
Yeah.
They may throw the 8th. They'll be eligible to throw the 8th, but the game will be over.
Yeah.
All over but the crying, so to speak. Team Mantia trying to come in. They were trying to do a little tap action. Get stoned. They're in a situation where they've got to make a bunch of stones and they don't a bunch of points and they don't have a lot of stones left to do it. They've only got 5 stones left to make 4 points. They do have a couple guards. That's useful.
Yep.
So Maddy Clough is being asked to do the correct thing at this point, which is peel a guard.
On sheet A, Josh Newborn's last shot came to rest in the 12, cutting off a draw angle.
Oh, yeah, cutting off the left to right draw. Yeah. Right to left draw is still there, but that's a draw for 1.
Yeah. And not an easy one.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, actually, which is what they're trying. I feel like this is probably a let's make the last shot feel good about ourselves and shake.
It's always nice when your last shot is good. Unlike when I was playing Elizabeth, who's sitting right next to me, and I missed the house on my last shot.
All right, hammer here in the 7th end for Team Cocoa Pebbles.
Elizabeth will be on our feature sheet.
On its way. They are just trying to draw 2 B-shot. Stone's on its way, and sweepers aren't touching it at all. I feel like it might be a little heavy. And no, I think it actually did get the 1. I think it was good enough to get the 1. Waiting for confirmation. Oh, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was too heavy.
I said quick all-house view.
I
think,
see shakes.
yeah, misfits.
So I'm pretty sure that draw was too deep. Yellow stole 1, ending the final, ending the game at 9-3.
Yep.
So we are now down to just the games on B and C.
Correct.
Sheet B, yellow throwing. They're in a great position. They're up 4 points. They've got shot, stone, and we're running out of stone. They're in a position where they're just hitting things. They're actually going to take out maybe both. Nope, 1. They top theirs out in the back at the 12-foot. Also, they don't care. Really, at the moment, it's all about a subtraction game, making it so red can't score 4. At the moment, red has 4 more stones that they could throw. So they need to make all of these. Well, they've got one stone in play. Well, they've got 2 stones in play. With 1 such a high guard, it's not going to score. So they've basically got 5 stones to try to score 4 points, and they don't really have good hidey holes. So that's a problem.
And you can, for the view I have now, you can keep an eye on C. Just to check on where that is. They are on the last of the Vice Rocks for Plan B.
Yeah, so they are not there. This is their last end. They are not going to make 8th end. Redstone is on its way. They kind of wanted to rest it on top of that yellow. That's actually a miserable. That's an unfortunate location because they give yellow the opportunity to take out both of those reds. Even if they only take 1, red would be dormy. They'd only have 4 to score 4.
I was just about to toss in the word dormy.
And the double is actually there. The box is out of play, unfortunately. But really all Reds cares about is make sure we get 1. And there it is.
Boom.
And that's perfectly adequate.
Yeah.
So now red is in a situation where they've currently got shots, so they got that going for them, which is nice. But they've got to get 3 more of their stones in to score. Period.
With a yellow one that is sitting on top of their shot.
I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's impossible.
Yeah. On sheet C, Chuck Riney is about to throw his first, trying to steal 2 and go to skip rocks.
All right, so
come
red
on, John.
got the hit.
There we go.
Spins in, currently lying 2. That's great. However, there is a really large target. Oh, red's throwing? Why is red throwing? Red shouldn't be throwing right now. Yellow should be throwing right now, right? Shouldn't he be throwing a yellow stone?
Yes.
Why is there a red stone in the hack? Okay.
Okay, they have figured that out just in time.
All right. So,
basically hit anything.
Yeah.
And hit anything and the game is over. Make
contact. Because if he hits his yellow, the red that's behind it goes. If he hits the red goes. If he hits just right, everything goes. As long as anything go bye-bye.
So just throw a ton of weight down the ice. This has a ton of weight. It's not going to flash, is it?
I'm not 100% sure yet.
Nope. Hit,
bonk, bonk, bonk.
1 red out.
All the reds
2
go bye-bye.
reds out.
Red only now has 2 stones. 2 minus 4 is -2. That's a problem. Game over.
Game over, and we'll just put X's up for the last.
That is X's because both teams still have stones to throw.
All right, so we're going to switch the feature sheet to our only remaining game.
That would be sheet C, which, just for those of you who have been watching along at home, is Plan B for Pittsburgh throwing the yellow stones against Crab Benedict, a Potomac team, throwing the red stones. current score right now, Plan B 6, Crab Benedict's 4. Crab Benedict's does not have the hammer. Plan B has the hammer. So Benedict's is trying to figure out how to steal 2. Currently, the situation is not favorable for that. They've only got 1 more stone left. They've only got 1 stone in a scoring position. It is currently shot.
And that is
but it is
probably about to go.
And that is what Plan B is attempting to take out. All they got to do is make this hit, and it is game over. There is a sweeper trying to scrub like they're trying to push a little. Did they get past the guard? I think they flashed on a guard. They did, but actually
that's
it's just
enough
of a correction.
Oh.
That qualifies as winning it dirty, but that's okay. It's still a win. That is game because I think they don't have. Yep, there's the shakes. That's game.
There's game. All right, so your finals. On sheet A, Misfits from Rocket City, Houston, Morgantown, Nashville. I've been everywhere, man. Peachtree. They win 9-3 over Cocoa Pebbles from Philly. On sheet B, Bacon and Legs from Butts County with 1 representative from Potomac. 7-3 over Team Mantia from Ardsley with 1 representative from Triangle. On sheet C, congratulations to our Pittsburgh viewers. Plan B has defeated Crab Benedict's. My Saturday and Tuesday matinee buddies. On sheet D, you can beat us, but you can't join us. You can join them, but you cannot beat them, actually, because they brought in some new players and won.
Yes.
So that was 5-3 for the Potomac crew. Ken Clark, the wizard of the webcast, the late call-in as the skip for that, played very well. A couple of nice shots in there,
right.
defeating Amanda Fabian. Alan, any final words?
Oh, so that was draw 1. There's a lot of games to come, including one in about 28 minutes for draw 2. So we'll talk. I believe it's you and me back on this thing. So I guess we'll talk to you then.
It is. I think that I think we actually have a.
We have a full hour.
No, I think we have someone else coming in.
Oh, very nice.
So.
Marvelous. But regardless, that's where we're going to wrap that up here. Thank you for dealing with us during the audio difficulties earlier. See you in a little bit. For Bo Dury, I'm Alan McNeil. Thank you for being here for the Brunch Spiel at the Potomac Curling Club. Talk to you about noon. Good.